Sorry, do let me know when the live stream is working. Do you see anyone there yet? Awesome. Yeah, so the Zoom is probably going to get tapped soon. So if it gets tapped, it's just join funds that YouTube.
Feel free to use the Zoom chat or YouTube chat if you're watching from YouTube and add in what you're excited for this year, any questions or concerns. We have a wave from Arjun. How are you doing today?
Very good. Super excited for the kickoff. I know we have a bunch of cool stuff coming up, and I can't wait to hear about it.
I'm excited too.
Yeah, I heard there's a really great UXGO alumni course that we produce.
Yeah, apparently so. I mean, we'll find out, I guess, right?
Okay, we'll try to start in like a minute or so.
I really appreciate everyone's patience.
Namita already got a sneak peek in the internal call just now. Okay, I want to do a quick check. There are 6 alumni that are speaking today. Could you please change your name? And then if you're a coach, Shani, could you set example? Could you change your name also to like UXGO coach, so people know, because we're gonna set up breakout rooms.
Yep, if you need help doing that, just hover over your own square and then the 3 dots, there's a rename. After you click on it, there's a rename. Just go ahead and put UXGO coach, UXGO alumni, whatever describes you.
Yeah, and if you're a speaker, could you also change your name just to UXGO alumni? I will share all the slides for everyone. running it through one time right now to make sure everything works. Okay, for the sake of time, I think we'll get started. I think we have all the speakers here. Yeah, if you're gonna present, please change your name to please add UXGO alumni like when Maya and some of the others did just now. Okay. The music has quieted down, so it's our cue to begin. All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, so we're gonna get started officially now. People might trickle in late. If you're watching and streaming this on YouTube, welcome as well. How many do we have on YouTube right now, Jean-Marie?
Let me check. We have 28 on YouTube and 72 in Zoom now.
Okay, awesome. So here's going to be a quick overview of the topics we want to cover in this year's kickoff. As you all saw, like a lot more members than past years. Everyone on the Zoom call should be joining from Slack. So welcome members. If you're joining from the mailing list, WeChat, or somewhere else, somehow you got a Zoom link, also welcome. We will be doing like a members mixer later on as well. So if you're in the Zoom, there'll be a breakout room opportunity where you can meet some of the coaches and just get to learn a bit more like what it is really like to work with a coach at UXGO. Going to the intro, one of the more important topics we'll talk about is the job hunting timeline. But I actually wanted to share this potentially after all the alumni share their experience. So you can get to hear from them first. And then if you're a new member or if you're like joining us for the first time and you're not really sure what UXGO is, I want to give everyone like a quick overview as well. So UXGO, we are the premier, original, and really #1 paid member-based career platform for UX industry learning. And if you're curious what that exactly means, you can take a look at our updated 3.0 website. So it will give you a very, very good overview, right? Right now, I'm logged in, so I'll log out so you can kind of see what it is like if you are logged out. So you can learn a lot more about like our community, who the active coaches are. You can learn like what it's like if you're someone new in school, leveling up your career. We'll do a really detailed 3.0 demo for members as well later, so you can know like what exactly we updated and why it took us so long. But if you're not a member, you can also just try a lot of the free resources we have. So we have like a free Figma community that you can use for templates. We have free courses on Figma. We have a course we'll share a lot more after Arjun shares his little keynote. And then we have like workshops and some selected industry topics you can learn as well. We'll have more resources going out as we kind of go later into the recruitment cycle. But as of now, I think these will be great resources for you to get started, even if you're not a UXGO member yet. So adding a lot more free resources, that's a big part of our mission for UXGO 3.0 this year. So continuing this, why our membership platform is so important is really we've been able to use everyone's membership fee to produce more and more content for members. And everything that goes into the membership system, as you see, is something that grows with each member. So a lot of the content you see now is actually worked on and produced not just by the coach team, but by UXGO alumni. So one thing you'll learn a lot more today is like, doesn't matter if you're part of advanced class or if you're just a regular member, how to use these resources to succeed. A lot of the alumni you'll be hearing from today, they'll share about like what it's like for them to job hunt, and they'll also share about like some of the classes they've had. So just to talk a little bit about our history, we've really transitioned into fully virtual pretty recently, just starting 2022. We've been coaching and helping students with the UXGO community since 2019, but we would consider our transition in the past year pretty successful, because with our membership 2.0 and 1.0 launches, our coach team has really, I think, almost tripled at this point. So we have close to 30 big tech coaches working with us, and each of them are really passionate and driven. And something I want to emphasize that all the coaches go through is we're not just like regular mentors, right? We work as a team. Right before this kickoff, we actually all had an internal meeting where we talked about our plans for this year. We work on resources and guides together. And then every new coach, we have a mandatory 1.5 month onboarding and training. And a lot of coaches are doing this as we speak, right? And something that makes UXGO really unique is what you'll probably get noticed is most online education or resources, it's focused on like one size fit all. And it's really more just about teaching sort of this set course, right? But for us, what we really want to emphasize is every member is unique, and we want to ensure whether you're just using our free resources or as a regular member, you have a strong capability to succeed while making sure everything's affordable, right? Because a lot of you are students. So that is why we developed the subscription service that is similar to Netflix, similar to Spotify, similar to any streaming service where you can just cancel anytime and use it when you need. So really, it makes it the most affordable for you and saves you the most amount of money. So one thing I just want to emphasize as well here, using Sheng and our alumni Arjun as example, both who used to be at Amazon, is we're not trying to teach you because we think we're better than you or we think we're better designers or smarter than you, right? When we teach a student in our one-on-one mindset and in our coaching philosophy, our success metric is set by helping you succeed. And a lot of that is about getting to know you and building a long-term relationship, right? Because what a good coach really is someone who helps you succeed. And that's all there is, right? So that's why we don't really believe in one-size-fit-all solutions. And if you're using our free resources or if you're watching any pre-recorded courses, I just want to remind you that the key to UXGO will still always be the parts where you're actually working with a coach together in a one-on-one or on Slack, or in some sort of real-time engagement. And then with that said, I want to leave most of the time to our alumni, just sharing what their 2023 internships or full-time roles were like. And then the big theme for this year's kickoff will be celebrating what makes everyone unique. So each alumni, I think, will give you about 3 to 4 minutes. Please don't go longer than 5 minutes. And then focus on just sharing your story. And then I'll pass it over to Vanessa first. Vanessa, are you here?
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name's Vanessa, and currently I'm a UI UX apprentice at Epic Games. And for those of you who aren't familiar, an apprentice is someone that is similar to an intern, except we come from a non-traditional design background. So maybe we didn't study design in the first place, like in college or as a master's, and we're basically career switchers. So I'm someone who studied computer science before transitioning into UX design after I graduated from college. And at Epic Games, I've had the amazing opportunity to work on Fortnite, if you guys know that game. Millions of players play that game every day, and it's super surreal to be able to work on a product that everyone is using daily and is being impacted by millions of people. And it's been an amazing experience so far, and I've been able to work on real meaningful projects that I wouldn't be able to experience otherwise. And having gone through the job hunting application process myself, The one big tip that I wanted to share with everyone that I didn't know in the beginning is apply to job listings and internships as early as possible. I didn't know that recruiters like they get a huge stack of applications, and usually they'll look at the ones from like top to bottom. So sometimes if you apply too late, they might not even get to your application before selecting a candidate. So if you're able to get your application in early, there's a higher chance of the recruiter seeing your application and actually interviewing you. And one thing that I really like to do was I followed companies that I really wanted to work with, and I also followed the recruiters on LinkedIn so that way I would know whenever internships are posted or like job listings are posted, and also make use of the job alerts feature on LinkedIn so that you'll get notified every time they post like a new job listing that's right for you. So yeah, good luck to everyone, and yeah.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. And that's a great tip. And then a lot of you may not know Vanessa like Hannah or I do. So Vanessa actually, even though she's a career switcher, I think she's a very talented UX designer, and she actually comes from a coding background before. So if you're someone who is already a member and you want to connect with her more on Slack after you have a similar coding background, definitely feel free. And I know last year when you worked with Hannah, one of the biggest tips she was telling you was to apply as soon as possible. So I see you've wrote that as a tip for future members as well. Okay, Namita, you're next. And then thanks for going first, Vanessa. You did great.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Namita. So I've been a UXGO member for about a year now. And yeah, I just graduated from Carnegie Mellon with a bachelor's in HCI. And with the help of UXGO, I was able to secure an internship at Google this past summer, which was such a cool experience. Next slide. Yeah, so I got to work on Project Starline, which you may have heard, where you may have seen in Cloud Next. So Starline is like a magic window where you can talk, gesture, and make eye contact with another person in life size and in 3 dimensions. And it really helps people feel like they're together, even when they're cities apart. And this is such a cool project to work on. My work was dedicated in improving this technology for small group hybrid meetings. And it was really interesting to dive into accessibility and design for underlooked impairment groups like people who are hard of hearing and neurodivergent users. Next slide. Yeah, so especially for big tech companies like Google, it can be really difficult to stand out as an applicant. So my one big tip for students going through the application process is to really showcase your unique interests, whether that be accessibility, design systems, video editing. I think this really helped me in the application process of showing my own personality and what I can bring to the table. So yeah, good luck to everyone in your search.
I want to quickly just call out, like, if you are not a member and you don't plan to join, that's also okay. Like, you can still ask questions on YouTube or like ask questions on Zoom. Like the alumni can just reply if they see your question. So if you want to know a bit more about like the exact timeline, or it could really be anything, like even if you just want to ask like you know, what for example, Namita study at CMU, stuff like that. That's all okay. So definitely keep sending your questions in the chat. Okay, Arjun, you are next.
Hey, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So hi everyone, my name is Arjun, and I joined UXGO back in 2021. Actually, I do have a traditional design background. I majored in UX in school. So my big thing with UXGO was I didn't really know how to present and pitch my work. I wasn't quite sure of how to highlight certain key points. And that's where I kind of reached out to UXGO for help. And of course, it was extremely helpful for me. I was able to secure an internship with Amazon in 2022. So that's where I interned in summer, and I was able to secure a full-time return offer with Amazon as well. So that's where I'll be going in Jan 2024. So in 3 months, I moved to Seattle to start with Amazon, which is super exciting. The next slide. Yeah. So in the summer of 2022, I actually had the chance to work on the Amazon app, which was really awesome because it's one of those things that people, Vanessa already mentioned, it's really kind of it's really interesting when you start working on things that people use every day. And the Amazon app is something I've used. I mean, I'm sure all of us have used it at some point or the other. So it was really almost mind-bending to just kind of get into the industry and start working on this product that I've used so many times. But it was really amazing to learn from those experiences. Amazon is really cool as a company because I had the chance to work with not just my team, but also with stakeholders from external teams, from different organizations, even from different countries, tons of different roles. So really, I had the chance to really expand my own horizons, and it was quite valuable at the time I spent there. It was very interesting. And just for my tip, clearly I have more than one. I have tons of things to say. I don't stop ever talking. And on that note, I actually am partnering with UXGO to create their newest course, which is Intro to UX. But the unique part about this course is actually not just the fact that we're introing UX, right? Of course, we're going to talk about UX and the steps and the theory of all of it. But the one thing I realized in school, which is also where UXGO came in and helped, is that there is a noticeable gap between what you learn in academics versus what the industry actually needs from you as an applicant. And that is part of what my attempt was. And Leon and I are actually co-teaching this course, so you will see from him as well if you choose to dive in. This is a free resource, so I would encourage you to kind of take a look. If not the whole course, then there are certain sections that I feel like will help everybody. I honestly learned a lot myself when I started developing this course. Is one of those things that I just kept refreshing my memory with. But I noticed that there was a large gap between the industry and school. So with this course, we're teaching you about UX, but also about the ins of the industry, about how to prepare presentations, about how to prepare case studies that will stand out to recruiters, really all of those things. So it's going to be a super well-rounded experience. And I'm really excited to kind of have it launch within the UXGO ecosystem.
Perfect. Okay, Jamie, I'm not sure if you're here. Are you here, Jamie? Okay. Not 100% sure if Jamie is here. I'll quickly go through her slides, just because she added them. So I think Jamie is also one of Hannah's students. I know she might be busy because she's actually preparing for another interview for a full-time role this week. So Jamie worked at Activision Blizzard on Call of Duty, so it should be a game most of you are familiar with. And let's see, the one tip Jamie added was, I guess she also comes from a programming background. Hannah, maybe you can confirm that in the chat, but she added the tip that she thinks programming can really help boost UX portfolio. So Jamie, if you're rewatching this recording, good luck preparing your interview, and then we're all very excited to see where you choose to go next for your full-time opportunity. Okay, Maya, I know you're here, so I'll pass it to you.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Maya. I'm currently a senior at the University of Michigan, and I'm studying in this School of Information. I learned about UXGO through just like online blogs, I think, when looking for a UX mentor. And the reason behind this was because I found that there's a big disconnect between what my university's career development office knew about UX recruitment and the reality of the recruitment timelines and experiences themselves. So through working with UXGO, I secured an internship last summer at Oracle. There, I worked within the financial services general business unit, and I primarily worked on usability aspects of an untouched corner of the cloud. Can go into the next slide because it connects. And my biggest piece of advice has to do with both like how the outcome of recruitment will come about, but also like for mentality and just going through the entire process, which is really to stay true to yourself. Throughout the process, I knew what I was interested in terms of companies, like B2C versus B2B and industries and locations, but I cast a super wide net, which was beneficial, but also very overwhelming throughout the process. So ultimately, I would say that yes, it's super important to reach those ratios, but also be intentional in where you're applying because it will help you along the way.
Awesome. And then one theme I think all of you can already hear is that disconnect. Every student's emphasizing it, but you can also hear like all 5 people that shared so far also all share very unique backgrounds. So it's very nice to see how we've all come to the world of UX. Okay, I think the last one we'll have time for is Ife. I think I saw you, so feel free to take it away.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Ife, and I'm a product design intern at Coinbase last summer. To give more about background, Coinbase is a company that operates cryptocurrency exchange. So during my internship, I was designing experience that help people onboarding and troubleshooting in Web3 when they're using cryptos. So one piece of advice I would give is that from the recruiting process and also during my internship, I got to understand that storytelling is really an important skill for UX designers to showcase our design works when we're like meeting different audience. So we need to tell our stories to recruiters, to the design teams and product teams and many like other stakeholders. So it's really important to practice this narrative skills from an early stage. So for me, UXGO coaches helped me a lot in improving this. So I would suggest booking one-on-ones with coaches and ask how like to improve presentations and just like speech, how to present like speech.
Awesome. Okay. So I think I already saw a question in the chat about the timeline. So we'll just go right into the timeline keynote. So this way, if you have more questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. But we'll also have opportunity for breakout room later, so you can talk more with some of these alumni or with our coaches directly. We still have a few coaches who are also attending the event as well. So here is a general timeline starting from today, right? So if you are even completely brand new to UX, you actually still have enough time. So that should be something that you feel relatively comfortable with. Okay. I know it's a weird space to be in because you see some people already getting offers, right? If you're on our Slack, you probably see people doing like these final round interviews and you see people saying they already got offers. So the first thing I want everyone to know is looking for a job is very different from when you're applying to a master's or if you're applying to a school. There isn't a start and date, right? Using a lot of what some of these alumni share. I know we have so many other alumni who wanted to share today, but sorry, we just simply didn't have enough time to have all of you share your slides. But Vanessa, Namita, like they're all really good examples of like why applying early was important. Using Namita as example because she was working with the Google application with me. The Google internship actually closes their application last year around January 15th, I think, or it's either January 15th or 20 something. It changes a bit every year. But every year, so every year starting from 2019, someone from UXGO has went to intern at Google. But one data I can share with everyone is they never applied in January. So no one that has went to intern at Google from UXGO applied later than January. So Namita, you probably remember this as well, because I know you had like a weird situation where you applied twice where someone referred you later, but then you already got like an interview. But basically like the referrals and things like that on an internship level aren't as important than applying early, because if your application is really solid, like Namita's, she's done an internship at Tinder before, she works really hard, of course, she polished her portfolio, so her application was already ready. So in January, she actually was already interviewing with Google, right? I remember this because I saw our emails the other day. So that's a fun fact I just want to share with everyone. So a lot of students think they want to wait as long as possible to prepare as much as possible, then apply. But most likely that's a bad idea, right? So the big idea is get your butt moving, because if you're starting from now, you have so much time to be ready, right? Google opened their internship, I think late December last year. And basically Namita was the first to interview, right? Because some people haven't even applied yet. And then she was also one of the first to go into team matching. And then I'm not going to go into the detail of like how Google recruits today, but basically after you do team matching, you have to be matched with the team to get an offer. So it's not just that you pass the interview, you get an offer, right? So there's a lot of advantages of moving towards that team match round early. If you hear from like other UXGO members like Joyce or other members from 2021, 2022 who went to Google, they'll all tell you the same thing. So October 7th means you have possibility to go work at any company you want as long as you want to work hard. So if you're starting from zero, you're not sure what you're supposed to do right now. The advice I think any coach at UXGO would give you is focus on your resume first, right? That has to be your number one priority because your portfolio can be modified like on a regular basis, but your resume really is something that should just be done so that every time you apply, you're just customizing it, right? If you're already a member, you're not really sure where to start with this, just use the Slack channel. You'll see Shawnee has a lot of help on that. We'll also demo like how you can use our new resources to get started, but get started on your resume. So this way, if you realize you don't have work experience, you can move on to the next step, which I have in November 1st, right? So if you realize, okay, my resume simply just isn't competitive, I don't have a lot of work experience, then you have to get work experience, right? There's no other way around that. So in November, what you should be working on is similar to what a lot of UXGO students are doing, right? This could be a school project, this could be an apprenticeship project, this could be an advanced class project, but you should be working on your hero project, right? And this hero project is going to do a few things. Number one, it's going to be the most important thing on your resume, right? Because this is going to be that job that basically gets you the interview or not, right? This could be a capstone project. This could be like an internship project. It doesn't matter what it is, but in your mind, you need to know for sure, this is the project that's going to get me the interview and I'm going to use it in the interview to get me my offer. So you need to start working on it in November, right? You don't have to finish it in November, but you have to start working on it in November, because once you start working on it, you can put it on your resume while you're working on it, right? That's a very common thing you can do, but most students don't realize you can do that. And as you're working on it, you can start thinking about how you want to put it onto your website, right? So you can see both of those pieces tie back to what you can do now. So something that's really important is you need to think about these before November happens, because if you don't have all of this mapped out on what exactly you want to do, what your plan is, when November starts, it's going to be too late because you don't have a plan. So figure out exactly what you lack, figure out what you're good at, and work on your hero case study. I'm going to pause here to see if anyone has questions. If I have any questions, please use the chat. Okay, so let's assume you're pretty clear on the big importance of what you're supposed to do right now, right? So right now it's mostly figuring out your exact plan, because you saw from all the alumni, it's like everyone's timeline is going to look a little bit different. So you need to figure out exactly what I need, what I'm good at, what I don't need. And then if you feel already ready, you can start trying to apply to a few roles, right? But there's not going to be that many roles open anyways. So when you get to November and December, this is where you start to act, right? Because this is when roles start opening and you see these positions opening up. So this is where, when you apply, you want to take a data-driven approach, right? This is what we teach at UXGO, because we focus on the result. A lot of you are really curious, like, why do our members have like such high offer rates? And the reason why is we teach them to be focused on the result. So that means when you apply, you need to track your resume data, right? Which resume did you use? How did you customize it? What worked, what didn't? So you should have a good idea of like, okay, if I'm applying to like 100 roles, how come I'm not getting any interviews, right? If you don't have any idea why, that means you're just not even tracking your data at all, right? So if you're a new member and then you're just completely confused about like what are some of the important things, then you definitely want to go through some of the new member courses we're going to show later. Something else that Maya mentioned, I want to emphasize too, is you can keep networking, but the purpose of networking isn't to get a referral link, right? Because referral links usually don't matter for big tech jobs. The referral system is completely different for interns and full-time employees. So when you ask for a referral link, it's not going to boost up your application. The way I've seen smarter UXGO members network, such as Maya, is like you're trying to network with the recruiter, or you're trying to network just with someone that works at the company, not to get a referral link, but just to hear a little bit more about their culture, right? So be genuine when you network. not only does it not benefit you when you ask for a referral link, most likely you wasted a good opportunity where you can actually meet someone and make a connection. So make sure you know why you want to network. And in November, this is also where you want to review the general of your portfolio. So by December, your portfolio should already feel 90% ready, right? So November is the time where you want to be working on your portfolio and thinking about the next steps, such as in December, you should have applied to 50 roles, right? And then this is also where in December, most of you will get your first interview, especially if you're applying for like internships, right? And then if you really, really want like a referral, I want to emphasize again, like it's really not going to be that helpful, but if you really want a referral, like it's still not going to hurt you. So if you work with a coach from Amazon, if you work with a coach from Google, you can ask them for a referral, like that's fine, right? And they can give you some feedback on your application. But just remember, it's more important to have a good, strong application than it is to have a referral. I can't remember, Arjun, if you did a referral at Amazon or not, but at least in my own background, like you remember that year at UXGO, we had about like 10 or 13 members go to Amazon. From my knowledge, I think over 80% of them didn't use a referral. So at least for Amazon and most big tech companies, right? It's more about being prepared.
I didn't have a referral, but I was recommended for a portfolio review through my school. So that was something that I did get. That was a resource I had the advantage of using is based on my relationship with my school faculty, they recommended me to a recruiter that was coming in from Amazon. And that fast-tracked me to the interview process. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So just, you can see again, it's not about asking for the referral link, right? It's always about networking to meet someone, right? So if you're curious how Maya and like folks like Arjun do it, like you can ask them on Slack as well. So this timeline, if you have any questions, just ask in the chat. And then Hannah, Shang, or any coach, if you see some of these questions, feel free to help me answer. And then Shawnari, I know you're monitoring the live stream, but if you see it, you can also help me answer the questions.
Okay. Yeah. So this is Shane, just to add one more items. So yeah, for Amazon, if you can reach out to a recruiter, they actually can let you go into the interview process much faster than if you just apply through the internship portal. Another one thing is if you do get a referral from folks from the Amazon, make sure let them refer you first before you apply yourself, because Amazon referral system is a bit different. If you apply yourself, then we can no longer give you refer. So just a heads up for that.
Sheng, do you feel like the referral for internship is important at Amazon, or do you think it's more important for like senior and higher level roles?
I would say for internship, it's more like let the HR see you, the recruiter sees you. So that's the most important thing. Then for any like, mid-level, senior level, then that's become like the referral process is more important.
So if you're curious about like just getting referrals and things like that, usually at UXGO, we just need you to have your resume, your portfolio, and also the job link, and you send it to us. So for example, Shang or another coach, they'll give you feedback, and then you update your application, and then you can do the referral. So it never hurts to ask. Okay, so please ask any other questions in the chat. So let's move on to like kind of the interview stages. So in January, this is where you really want to start practicing your interview skills, especially if you're an international student, right? So at UXGO, last year we had a lot of international students, but before that, it's maybe 10%, but last year, maybe like 40% of all UXGO members were international. But international students get a lot of offers too, right? Because when you practice your interview, it's not about how good your English is, right? It's about how well you communicate, right? And when you communicate, being a native speaker is only a small benefit, because what you'll really notice is how well someone takes your idea is more about your logic, right? So there's a lot to practice in the interview. So this is something where if you think you're about to get an interview, you should start practicing a bit ahead of time, right? Also in January, I would emphasize this is your last chance to get your portfolio ready, because if you still don't have your portfolio ready at this point, like you've probably spent either too much time on it or too little time on it. Resume, of course, should have been already fully ready, but let's assume for some reason you started super, super late. Then make sure your resume is ready first. And then one thing I want to emphasize here is you're aiming for something we call 110-1. So what that means is you want to apply to close to 100 roles. And then if your application is solid, like most UXGO members, you should get close to 10 interviews, right? If the economy is really bad, so last year it was really bad. Before that, it was also pretty bad because of COVID. So this year, most likely, it's not going to be great either. So you should still be able to get 5 interviews, right? If you're not getting 5 interviews, that just means whatever you're applying with is just not good. Okay, so that could mean you don't know how to customize your resume. That means maybe you just don't have a good portfolio. That means maybe when you're applying, you're not reading the job description. 99% of students that first join UXGO, they say they customize their resume, but 99% of them have been doing it wrong, right? So if you're a new member, you probably know what we mean. You probably saw the Slack channels. So make sure you actually learn how to use your resume properly. I'll leave it here. If you have any questions, ask in chat. So in February, this is like your last major month to apply, right? Because starting from February, this is switching gears into interview focused. It's the same for intern and new grad, but for intern, it's going to be super, super obvious, right? Because this is where most companies are going through their final round. Amazon, Google, almost any company that's hiring, that's a big tech or medium tech, will be focusing in February or March, right? So starting here, this is where you want to be honest, if you're not fully confident on your portfolio, you should probably stop working on it and just focusing on applying, because if you don't apply now, you're just going to miss your window, right? So most of you will be doing the interview, which is also why you want to line up like this. And then naturally by March, a lot of you will start getting offers. Most of the alumni you've heard, they've gotten their offers in March. So most of the alumni that shared today, that's their timeline. If you started late, so I'm going to give an example, just like let's just say for some reason you joined UXGO in March, and then this is the first time you started applying or you worked on your application. That's okay. Like there's still a chance you could still potentially get either a volunteer role or some apprenticeship or some opportunity for the summer. So even if you started really, really late, I still want you to reach out and then just use UXGO for some special help. But generally, the latest opportunity to succeed, to get a summer internship or like a new grad job, is the latest you want to start is January, right? Because if you start in January, you're going to feel very, very rushed already. So hopefully by having this kickoff and attending this kickoff, it means most of you will be starting your applications early. So we are here now, right? So you have all the time in the world. It's just up to you to work hard and use it, right? Because you have to remember, if you start late, let's say you start in November, but you work twice as hard, you could potentially get the offer before someone who started now, right? But if you start in, let's say January, then you have to work 4 times as hard, or maybe even 5 times. And then most of you just won't be able to do it, right? So if you start early, you'll have a big advantage. So that's why we really want to remind everyone the importance of the timeline. So here's just a quick, you can screenshot this or take a picture. We'll also share the recording for this keynote, but this is just some stuff you want to work on in October. And then this is something Coach Hannah made. So this is like when you apply to jobs, you can apply to tier A, and then you can apply to tier B jobs. So you want to spend time doing both, but the effort should be on applying to a mix of both, so that you work hard to customize the tier A jobs. And the tier B jobs, really, you're just applying there to make your number go up and then get some more data on your application. And then the last point I want to add is, if you are not an intern or new grad, right? A lot of UXGO members are like career switchers or bootcamp grads, or let's say you are already interviewing for a senior level role. You apply all year, right? So we have some students that like Andrew and Runchi, who did like the Amazon apprenticeship program. So that's different from the internship program. So if you're not an intern or new grad, you need to apply all year, right? Especially if you are a senior, right? So there isn't a strict timeline for that. Okay. The last part I want to quickly go over before we go into breakout rooms is how that timeline is connected to our UXGO timeline. So right now we're kicking off our members UXGO 3.0. So we are here right now. Starting October 15th, right? So this is advanced course. A lot of you might know this as 火箭班. So this is already full, right? So unfortunately, you cannot sign up for this anymore. We capped this at 20. So you start 15th in this. There will be some other apprenticeship and other UXGO client opportunities you can apply for, but you will need to interview for those, right? So the idea is for advanced course students, when you start on the 15th, think back to the timeline I shared earlier. So all of you need to also work on these other items as you're working on your case study. So the idea is by December 1st, everyone from advanced course, you will have both your project ready and your application ready. So then you will be very, very ready, in good shape, right? And it doesn't matter if you're completely new to UX right now. I want to share, like, use Rico as example from advanced class in January, who was part of Tina's A class. So they started like in January, right? And they had like 0 portfolio, 0 projects. But using advanced class and then just spending that time to get the application ready, you can still catch the latest interview, right? Last major month interview. So everyone right now has a lot of time. So just make sure you know what you're supposed to do each month. And the key about job hunting is you have to always work on a few things at once, right? So you can't say, because I'm doing my project, I'm not going to work on anything else. That's not going to be a good idea, right? And then starting November 1st, we will have our early interview full course. So if you think you're going to get an interview, you can start applying to our interview advanced course, which I'll share a bit more later in the demo as well, right? So this is going to be like a new course we're rolling out, and then we will only have this course twice a year. So look at Kickoff. This is UXGO stuff you can use. You can screenshot this. So mostly just try to use the Slack resources because everyone's situation is different. So make sure you attend, like, for example, like the live courses, Sundays, career workshop. Just make sure you're actually spending the time at UXGO doing what you need. And then the next step, if you're already part of advanced course, I know this is full, you can't sign up for it anymore. But if you really want to sign up for this, you can interview and apply for the apprenticeship programs we have, or just try to RSVP for the next one in 2024, right? Okay, so last slide here. So the last slide here, if you're interested about the interview full prep, this is for all levels. So intern, senior, doesn't matter what level you're interviewed for, everyone can apply. This is what you'll work on from week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. So after this course, you should be ready for any interview, and then you just book a few extra one-on-ones to prepare for the specific company. And then, of course, there's going to be many, many other updates coming after the kickoff. So just make sure you stay active on Slack. And then we also hope to meet you in person, right? Next week, we have our event at UW, which is going to be one of the biggest UX events on UW. So this, you can see, was from last year. We're going to have our RISD event on the November 4th. And then we're also going to have our event at UCSD. So if you want to attend like our in-person events, like make sure you stay active on our social media or on Slack as well. So with all that said, I want to transition to quickly just show everyone a little bit about some of those resources I mentioned on UXGO 3.0. So the first one I want to showcase is that free resource. So you can see in the free resources here, everyone can use our community file. There is a free version for this, right? So you can see there is a how to use, and then you can use all of this resource to basically try to build your resume and portfolio one by one. You can also, like, of course, spend some more time with Arjun's 5-week course, which I think is one of the best resources to get started, right? So this is a complete course overview that talks about everything from theory to connecting it into like industry, right? Winning over stakeholders. Arjun's even going to share his actual projects and case studies of like how he got offers at Amazon. So we probably spend like close to 500 hours developing all of this. So this course is definitely one of the ones you want to spend some time on, even if you're part of advanced course right now. I think it's still worth your time to watch. Other than that, something else that's really important is develop strong Figma skills. So we actually redid our entire Figma course for 2024 because Figma did a pretty big update. So learn all the strong prototyping basics with Genre here. This is also completely free. So you can watch the whole course on the free resources section as well. And then lastly, if you're just curious more about like the workshops, right? You can hear like some of the coaches' journey here. You can hear, like, for example, some of the keynotes we had at other places. Here we have a workshop from Chi about doing UX research. We have one about working with PMs. So all these free resources, you can just go UXGO, watch anytime. And then if you are a member, so you do have to log in. So let me log in really quickly. Okay. Okay, so if you do log in, like one of the new features, I haven't even used it yet myself, is you can't upload a profile picture. So make sure to upload one. And then we have quick navigations to all these new resources on the website directly. So there will be a new resume organized section, right? Talking about things like keywords, recruiter screening. Going back, I think one of the parts that will be more helpful is make sure that you also get familiar with the industry module. So this is old, but we are actually updating it right now. So this will cover everything about the job hunting process, from like understanding the industry, how to be a strong applicant, how to network, what the interview process is like, how to get offers, how to negotiate offers. So this really will just cover almost every topic that you might have questions on. And then if you have interviews, we also have this new interview section built out for you. So you'll see things like, for example, our case study examples. So this will have things like basically a wireframe that you can use to copy paste. There will be real like deck examples from myself in the past as a student. Just a lot of things you can use. And then we'll also include some like courses. And then we're not going to put too many for the deck part because everything that we have here, this is all approved by whoever was showcasing it. So for BQ, there's a bit more. You can see there's a starter guide. There's some examples on like from me, how to answer. I included some like course examples from some of the alumni you've heard today, such as there is, I think there was a section where this is basically how Maya and I practiced BQ. This is a section where Namita and I practiced BQ. So you can just kind of hear like how these alumni actually improve their behavioral questions as well. And then this part for whiteboarding and app critique, take-home challenge, there's going to be a lot of resources you can just spend watching as well. But the big idea here I want to emphasize is like, don't like use this to prepare for every interview because every interview is different. So I'm going to show this as a quick example. When we have, let's say, a on-site, so this is what we call the final round. This is what we coaches use to kind of give you feedback, right? So in this example, you'll see that for every company, the rubric is going to be different. So this example rubric is for Microsoft. So this is a student we were helping last week doing a full on-site. So if you're interviewing for Amazon, you want to prepare with Amazon coaches and with the Amazon rubric, right? If you're interviewing for like, let's say Salesforce, you're interviewing for Spotify, you don't want to prepare it by watching like a Amazon or Google video, right? So the videos are not like a source of truth. They're just to give you an understanding of like what the basics are, right? So always book a one-on-one or at least ask on Slack if you have questions, right? Don't just use this by itself, because we're really afraid in the past, before this year, we were always afraid to put up like a detailed interview guide, because the more detailed our guide is, the more we are afraid that people will think they feel ready by just watching recordings, because that's not how you prepare for an interview. Okay, let's see if there are any other courses, member courses we missed. So of course, you'll have portfolio, resume, interview prep, and there's just a lot more you can explore. And there's a lot more new features we're like spending time developing. So one of the features I wanted to share is this referral system, right? So to use this, you can just copy this and then paste the link to your friend, and then your friend can enter their information. And then if they sign up using your referral code, both of you will get a coupon for a one-on-one class, right? So this is something a lot of members requested in the past. So we have this built out now on our website directly. Other things we have here, of course, something else we're building right now is we have a detailed to-do list tracking. So this is coming in the next update. So once you do this, basically for the next update, on your dashboard, you're able to see exactly what you completed and what you need to work on next. So that's something we're going to do, and that's going to help with the course tracking on your dashboard. So there will be a lot more things you can do on your dashboard, but at the end of the day, I still want to encourage everyone to make sure you join our Slack and then spend the time doing the live learning. Okay, so we're going to go back and then just wrap up the presentation. So all of this is all live now. Feel free to explore. And then I also want to announce the raffle winner. So this is the second raffle winner. So Jessica, I don't know if are you in the Zoom today, but we did a random number generator and then it was 7. So you were 7 on the submission. So you can do a free one-on-one with any coach you want. So just quick announcement here. And then remember, when you use the referral system, make sure you copy this link, right? So that's how we track the member is referred by you. Okay, so we'll do quick breakout rooms. And then if you want to follow us on any of our social medias, feel free to follow. But we're going to do breakout rooms right now. Any questions before we go into breakout rooms? Okay. And then Shanri, I think you can end the live stream on YouTube now.
All right. Thank you everyone on YouTube that was tuning in. We'll be ending